So is there any Met news going on? I haven't heard anything about the Mets. Any Met news going on, guys? Anything? Anything? Bueller. We all know what's going on with the shit show known as the Giants. We all know that Carl Anthony Towns has got a little bit of a boo boo, and we also know now that we're not second to Juan. $700 million. Oh, at least the Mets got some good news. We can find some fucking pitching. I'd be happy. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Let's give them something to talk about. I love this answer right now. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point with Greg. Short answer, hell no. Hell no, we're not going to Why should we do that? I mean, you look at this Giant team and you cringe. And I don't know where to start. And I know you got to start with Daboll, and you got to start with Dave. You got to start with Shane, 100%. You have to. Oh, Juan, I'm so sorry, Juan. I'm gonna get a Yankee jersey just for you, Juan. But you look. We've talked about this before. 7-2, 22. 2022. You were 7-2. Finished 2-5-1. From that 2-5-1, since that 2-5-1, you have gone 6-11, and now you're 2-11. So since that 2-5-1, you have won 8 games. You have not progressively gotten better. You have not progressively shown any type of improvement. We're going to talk about the shoulder tackle again because I love Trey Hawkins gets his first interception since the first week of the season. And he goes out. How does he hurt himself? He throws the shoulder tackle. Drew Phillips on that first down, giving up that big 17-yard play. How did Drew Phillips miss that tackle? He did a shoulder tackle. We're going to talk about that again. But literally, you have not shown any marked improvement. I can't sit here and tell you, looking at this team, saying, are they remarkably better than the last 2 years of Joe Judge? No, they're not. If anything, they've gotten worse. How do you would think, you had the golden boy, Joe Schoen, coming in here. We're going to do all these things. I brought in this offensive-minded head coach that's going to rescue Daniel Jones's career. We've done everything we could to add weapons. I love how Mara talks about, we've done everything to screw up this kid. Does anyone want to talk about how the likes of Daniel Jones have done everything to screw up this franchise? Or do we just forget about that? Or we just move on from that? But you've shown a progression of getting worse. And people are going to say, well, finally in year 4, he's fixed the cap. No, he didn't fix the cap in year 4. He got rid of the quarterback, which was eating up 18% of his cap space. So, yes, you may have $60 million in cap space, but here's the problem. You don't have a quarterback on the roster. It's easy to have a shit ton of cap space if you don't have a quarterback. That's really in my mind, that's really a bad trade-off. I know what we're going to do. We're not going to have a quarterback, and we're going to have all this cap space. We're going to fix everything with all this cap space. Do you really think with his free agencies that you sit there and you say to yourself, Joe Schoen really should have an opportunity to spend that money and to draft a quarterback? Do we really think we should give him that opportunity? The answer should be no. You would think of the ultimate in stupidity that we are as a franchise. We would look at the fact that we have gotten steadily worse in almost every single position, but somehow we are just continuously going the wrong direction. And I wish I literally could tell you, it's going to get better. But I can't. Because there's talk and speculation under some Giant fans that we won't take a quarterback in this draft. We're gonna wait. Watch how shrewd we are. We're going to wait till after 2026 when Archie Manning's eligible to come out. No, never mind. We don't know anything about Archie Manning. We know nothing about, out of a small sample, what he is going to be, because no other quarterback has gone to college and failed. Talking about failure.
Stupid giant Twitter post.
Oh, this stupid giant Twitter post goes to Peter Jackson. I'm a nurse on here for personal entertainment. I give a fuck about having followers. You are apparently bringing the best in your giant football sports talk, but failing miserably at it, aren't you? Because you can't answer questions. No, here's the problem, Peter. I don't answer questions because I have a life and I can't spend my life on Twitter. So, yeah, I apologize from the bottom of my heart of having a life and not being able to go through the hundreds of inquiries on Twitter I get a day. You want to leave me an inquiry? You want to talk to me? Do it on the channel because I respond to most of the posts that people leave me. But that was our stupid giant Twitter post of the day. But how do you do it? How do you functionally sit there and say, we have to bring these two knuckleheads back? You really can't. I know we've given the seal of improvement, the endorsement, of course, of the Mara. But how? I mean, we would be you got the plane flying overhead saying, hey, Shmera, fix the shit show. Fix the dumpster fire. You got people not showing up in the stands. And I love it because we actually had we honestly had two for the Giants.
Stupid giant Twitter post.
The other one went to our all-time favorite, Art Stapleton, who came out and said that if you went on StubHub and saw tickets available, it doesn't mean that those tickets were not sold, because most of them are season ticket holders. It's the brightness of the people we pay to cover this team that is just astounding. What do we got here in the chat? What do we got here in the chat? Juan says, I come here to see a live stream, saw the Mets jersey. Now we got that. Now I'm leaving. I ain't pay for no plane. Oh, why did you have to bring that up early, Alexander? Why? Do we really need to unwrap the idiocy of Malik Neighbors? I mean, Malik, come on, dude. Please, for the love of God. Let's listen to the brilliance of Malik Neighbors and his media savvy.
Again, said, Mr. Mara, please fix this dumpster fire. How do you, as a player, what do you make of that?
I ain't paid for the plane.
I ain't paid for the plane. What the fuck does that mean? Wait a minute. They brought you here to talk. Now you don't want to talk. You dropped another fourth down pass. People are going to talk about the 2-point conversion, but you also dropped the fourth down pass when you guys were driving. But now you don't want to talk. Last week I had to hear they brought me here to talk because you talk so eloquently. You can tell your media training from LSU has really kicked in. But now he doesn't want to fucking talk. Now I didn't pay for no plane. Well, great. I'm glad you didn't pay for the plane. That honestly wasn't the question. You want to come in here? You want to be boisterous? You want to tell me how great you are? You want to tell me about how you're breaking records, how you're doing all this? Well, you know what? I'm not seeing a lot of touchdowns. I'm not seeing a lot of shit going on there. At this point in time, I would rather have Brian Thomas Jr. Seriously. All Brian Thomas Jr. does is catch the ball, average 16.5 yards of reception, I believe it is. 5 touchdowns. 61 total targets, has only 39 receptions for 648 yards when you have second most reception in the league and only 700 plus yards. And he's playing with Mac Jones. But he don't want to talk about no plane because he didn't pay for no plane. Evan says, this team is awful, not anywhere close to a quarterback away. No, we're not close to a quarterback away. But the problem is this, Evan, and you know this, I don't have to explain it to you. If you don't have a quarterback, you have the likes of Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito. Jameis Winston isn't coming here to save the day. If you were an NFL quarterback, even towards the end of your career, would you really want to go to the Giants? would you really sit there and say, I want to go to the Giants? No, you wouldn't. Daboll has to go. Thank you, Big Blue. Forever, you're correct, 100% correct. One, I'm going to get that Yankee jersey just for you. Danny Dudd says, give me a reason they deserve to stay. I previously said they deserve to get their own quarterback, but they complacent and paying Daniel Jones. They both deserve to go. Too bad Merritt can't go with them. Said the same thing before, and I've been saying it over and over again. And Pat Leonard finally caught on. I've been saying since the moment the ink dried on the Daniel Jones deal, Schoen and Daboll picked their quarterback. They already had a year. They picked their quarterback. All they had to do was get out from underneath that contract. And instead, they gave $160 million to Daniel Jones. So you picked your quarterback. So what makes you think your astute talent valuation should allow you the opportunity to pick another quarterback? Mr. Sanders, what's up? They need to be Schoen the door. Like that one. No one's getting worse. There is no light on the horizon. I loved last year, especially with R0B, that everything was Bobby Johnson's fault. Bobby Johnson, the offensive line coach. Everything's his fault. Now we have another offensive line coach. I'm not really seeing the line being any better with a totally different new talent. And Bobby Johnson's only got one of the best lines, and he's got a top 15 line. People are going to say, well, it's because he's got Jaden Daniels, a mobile quarterback. And I'm going to retort that because that is just stupid nonsense. Because offensive linemen will tell you the worst quarterback you can have is a quarterback who can run and scramble because you never know where the fuck they are. They're offensive lineman will tell you the hardest quarterback to block for is a running, scrambling quarterback. But why let football knowledge get in the way of stupidity? Razzle the Great says, hit that like button. It's still free. I'm going to start charging $1, I think. Todd Taylor says, I think you got the most out of Jones possible. 6 years, no progression. That has to be some on him. It does have to be some on him. You get a job. You get a job. So let's say it's your first job. You want to get progressively better each year at your job. Daniel Jones never did that. I have to find the video of the question I asked Daniel Jones at that one event where he started hemming, hawing, and rocking back and forth and holding the stomach, because it's a perfect question. Because when I asked him that question, I kept trying to tell people it was a softball question and he couldn't even answer it. And the question, I'm trying to find if I have the clip. And the question was very simple. I just said, some people say you had a renaissance season. What are you going to do this year to improve upon what you did last year? And he's doing this. He's rocking back and forth. He's not answering the question. I got to find the clip. Do I have the clip? I don't know where the fuck it is. We're a professional operation here. I'll end up finding it. Juan says, what's up with the big old super chat from Juan? Juan says Schoen hasn't earned the right to fire Daboll. So either they both stay or they both go together. Schoen needs to fix this mess or get the fuck out of New Jersey. Yeah. 1,000%. Here's the problem. Schoen just needs to go. Don't go away, man. Just go. He just needs to fucking go. He is the architecture of this mess. Hold on. Let me see here. The Bears are driving up the market and the Eagles are out. He's 400 yards away, Barkley is, from having the all-time rushing record in a single season. Kept telling people over and over again, you may not be in the playoffs with Saquon Barkley, but he's going to win you at least 4 or 5 games. Eagles are not in this position they're in without Saquon Barkley. The Giants don't make the playoffs in 2022 without Saquon Barkley. The Giants are a shit show mess without Saquon Barkley, but they're a 2-win team without Saquon Barkley. While you may only give you an additional 4 wins on a bad team, it's still 4 more wins. Because we're going to find a way to fuck it up and get to like 7th in the draft. We're going to figure it out. Because we always figure that shit out. Basketball Jones is Uncle Basketball Jones. Let's see here. Don't know. No, they absolutely ruined it. There are so many things any manager can do. Could have signed Winston, Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Even Andy Dalton would have been an improvement. Getting rid of Barkley was the worst thing. When he rushes and breaks the all-time rushing record for a single season, Saquon Barkley, we're going to cry. Not me, because I got my Eagles Saquon Barkley jersey. So I'll be fine. Let's see here. Rocky says they don't Everything is screwed up. All of their first round picks. We went through the drafts. We went through, and I don't want to go through the drafts again because we've gone through those drafts ad nauseum. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. Deonte Banks, which is the winner, is having a bad season. And I keep telling people this, and just remember this, guys. Yes, Deonte Banks' completion percentage is higher against him. Yes, he's being picked on at times. But if you take a look at the actual play of Pinnock and Newbin, he's getting no over-the-top safety help. You're starting safety, and Pinnock's got like 38 tackles, I think it was, and I think not a lot of them are solo. So he's just kind of getting there after the fact. He's getting no help. No help whatsoever. And for the love of God, Shane Bowen, for the love of God, what is it, Jerome Henderson? Whoever coaches the fucking secondary, stop with the motherfucking shoulder tackles, for the love of God. Teach your team technique. I have to admit, they were better tackling yesterday, but I will say, and Pinnock actually had a few good tackles where he wrapped up. The first down on the third and like 16 or whatever it was, Phillips missed another tackle again because he went for a shoulder tackle. He just throws his shoulder trying to knock the guy. No. We've talked about this a million times before. We've talked about this over and over again. My new favorite player, the Deshaun Mustard. Open field tackle. What do? You lead with your shoulder, wrap up the ball carrier, lift and drive with your legs. We just like to throw the shoulder at people and pray to God. It's an Adoree Jackson thing too. We throw the shoulder. And how does Trey Hawkins get hurt? On the play that Trey Hawkins get hurt. What does Trey Hawkins do? Does anyone want to guess? Because I'm going to tell you, he threw a shoulder. He threw a shoulder tackle. Because it's not technique. As a former safety and linebacker, I can tell you from Pop Warner to college, they teach you technique. They come to the Giants, they don't know anything. They lose all thought process. What does self-love say? Shane must go. Danny Dudd says, Ghost says, imagine bidding against yourself for the service of Dan Jones. Giants are run by emotional idiots. Most people in the NFL in that season said that Daniel Jones was not going to get Daniel Jones would not have gotten the $8 million that Mitchell Trubisky got that year or the year before from Pittsburgh. But we have bidded against ourselves because we're the smartest guys in the room. Ray says, we don't have a quarterback, but we have DJ on the books. This team is a joke. We're not even going to talk about that. And then I get worried that he's not going to do the post June 1st. Because he could do that and divide up that $22 million over 2 seasons. He did it. Oh my God. Going back to fucking Logan Ryan. We only saved $689,000 the year we cut Logan Ryan. We could have saved more by doing the post June 1st cut. Yes, you would have had to divide the money up 2 seasons, but you could have saved like $11 million that year in cap space. James Stein says, what's up, James? The time has come to clean house. Now from Shane and Daboll, they have proven they are not the guys who can lead us to a championship. Mara, for all the love of God, please fire this whole regime. I agree. David says, absolutely no way Shane and Daboll can turn it around. As much as there are things I think about Daboll, there needs to be a full overhaul. Keep saying this over and over again. Daboll was 7-2. You don't win the first game of the season without the missed field goal. You don't win the Jacksonville game without 2 bad penalties calling back Daniel Jones interceptions and stopping the Jaguars on the 1. You don't win the Washington game without Saquon Barkley. There's 3 wins out of that 7 you don't win unless the NFL gods are smiling on you. Because after that, you saw what the team was. Archie Manning, right. What a disgrace. This fan base is so fucking stupid at times. You're right. Danny Ghost says, week 17, Saquon breaks single rushing record against the Giants. How epic that will be. Fire everyone. I think he's 400-something yards away. I think second to last game of the season, he's got like 20 yards to get it. I wouldn't play him. I would have him do it in Philadelphia against the Giants the last game of the season. Who is the quarterback from Duke 3 times? Is a charm? Let's go Giants. No. Hartman says, what is Mara? Mr. Mara, enough. Please fix the dumpster fire. Please. That's it. We're not asking for much. What's up, Big Greg? Charlie wants Cam. I want Cam too. I'm a Cam guy. Not a slight against Sanders, and I don't think Sanders has an attitude, but do you want the combustion of Sanders and Neighbors together when one of them is either not getting the ball or one of them is being perceived not to throw the ball to the other person enough? I don't mind having a diva wide receiver if he has more than 3 touchdowns. Just throwing it out there. We could have kept Barkley and Jones around the RPO, hired an offensive line coach, give some sort of balance. While you're picking on babies, he started out great, but it takes 2. It takes 2 to make a thing go right. It makes 2 to make it out of sight. I want to rock right now. My name's our bass. I came to get down. I'm not internationally known, but I'm known throughout the microphone because I get stupid. I mean outrageous. Stay away from me if you're contagious because I'm a man now. No, not a loser. Being MC is what I choose. The ladies love me. Girls adore me. Everyone that does saw me sorry. You get that? You get that in your head. You got to go through it. You got to go through it and find the off ramp. I agree, Tim. Definitely need a quarterback. Exactly. No do-overs. Yes, no do-overs. No do-overs. There's no crying in baseball, and there's no do-overs. Good morning, Matthew. Tim and OBB family. Do you think we accidentally win against Indy? I think we're looking at 2-15. I think we're looking at 2-15. Now I got joy and pain, sunshine and rain. Give it to me, Rob Bass. Oh, now I got Rob Bass stuck in my head. Great. Now I'm laughing because now I got Run DMC playing in my head. It's Tree 2, Rock A, Rhyme 2, Rock A, Rhyme. It's right on time. It's tricky. It's tricky. Huh. Met this little girlie. Her hair was kind of curly. Went to her house to bust her out. I had to leave real early. All right, Mara, do we need to hire Parcells or Gruden as a consultant? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And the thing with John Gruden, we talked about the thing with John Gruden before. What John Gruden said was irreprehensible. But that's called male bravado. That's called being in the NFL. That's just the way they speak in the NFL. I'm sorry, guys. For someone that's been in college locker rooms and NFL locker rooms, I'm going to tell you that's kind of what goes on. Joe Schoen is awful at cap management. Why people keep forgetting that every season he had to trade, release, or someone to stay under the cap. Mr. Alvarez, because they don't want to talk about that. What do we got here from Big Mark? Salute, Tim. What's up, Big Mark? Saw your Twitter the other day that you were at the stadium, I believe. I hate this team. They stink. Well, Kevin's just straight up and forward. Greg says, I hope to wake up to the news that Shane and Daboll have been fired. However, that was not the case. At least Soto went to the Mets. You know what? I mean, honestly, think about this for a second and make sure you hit the like button on the way and think about this just for a second or two. How do you explain this to the fan base? If you go, and like I said, start at 7-2, 2-5-1, 6-11, and 2-15, how do you explain the fan base that the architecture of this team you're going to bring back? How do you explain that? I mean, literally, because I would literally, if you told me this, I literally have to sit there and think about, do I want to renew my season tickets? I didn't go yesterday. Could end up going to the Baltimore game because I'm meeting a bunch of people in the parking lot. But I didn't go yesterday. And this is the first time that I wasn't sick since this is the first time. I'm going to say this right now, so maybe John Mayer will hear this. This is the first time since 1976 I decided not to go to a game because, and not because usually if I didn't go to a game, it's because I was sick. Or one time I broke my leg, but I didn't go to a game for the first time since 1976 because I just didn't want to go. I didn't want to be there. I did not want to watch the shit show. Seriously. This is the first time since 1976 I did not go to the game Because not because I was sick, not because I was hurt, not because I broke something, not because someone in the family was sick, because I just didn't want to go. And as a season ticket holder, that says a lot. By the way, what's up, Kevin? A lot of things. What do we got here? What does the ghost say? I always said, speaking of the ghost, you know what? I got a Dennis Quaid. Everyone's All American. Yeah, actually, this is from the movie Everyone's All America. This is a signature by Dennis Quaid. Sent to me by Dennis Quaid. That's why I want to thank Big Dennis sending that to me. Let's see here. If you've never seen Everyone's All American, go watch it. It's from a movie from the 80s. F the front office on coaching staff. Clean it all out. Giants NY5 says the point of Daboll is if you can't get DJ or Drew Lock to evaluate quarterback play and the team is disorganized and undisciplined, what a disaster. You had 12 fucking penalties. The discipline of this team is it's non-existent. It's getting worse. And literally, how do you allow Shane to fire Daboll when he brought Daboll in and hire somebody else? You can't. Shane Bowen doesn't need to go. Shane Bowen, I never liked the hire. I did say that I thought it was great that he looked at the talent he had and tried to build a system around it. I never liked the hire. You would have waited a week. Could have Steve Wilkes. Congratulations, Tim, on getting Juan Soto. Hope you're happy. I am happy, actually. I am very happy. I've been a Mets fan since 1982. Year before Tom Seaver, year before Darryl Strawberry. Tom Seaver came back year before Darryl Strawberry. Greg says Joe is regarded as a scouting guru. What's his role as the head of scout of the Girl Scouts? I don't even think his daughter wants him to have him the head of the heads to go to the Girl Scouts. Technique is all lost for most of our DBs. Just put their hands together and shoulder everyone as a player will go down. Lead with your shoulder, but wrap the fuck up. Strider, but the thing is, they're not even leading with their shoulder. They're just shoulder tackling. And I mean shoulder tackling, like just throwing your shoulder at someone, hoping you hit them and knock them off balance by just inertia. That's all they're doing. Dory Jackson has been doing that his entire career. And now, like I said, you got Phillips doing the same shit. Watched Newman do it yesterday. Trey Hawkins got hurt doing it. For the love of God, can we stop? This is what bad teams do. That's why our tackling sucks. You're right, Kevin. You're right, Strider. Kevin said it's bad that at this point, the upside of Gettleman picking DJ, I wouldn't have minded him sticking around at least another 2 years. I think that's called wife syndrome. You know what the best part about the whole Saquon Barkley thing? I was thinking about this. You know what the best part of all of it is? Gettleman said you have to take him because he's a gold jacket guy. He's going to go to the Eagles and become a gold jacket guy. I mean, what do you say to that? I know what you say to that.
It was amazing. Last year it was, tough year for me mentally. Did a really good job of. They love the Cowboys.
I'm gonna stop you for a second. I'm gonna let the crowd take this one. You guys listen at home. They are saying
Thank you, Giants.
Thank you, Giants.
That'll stick with me for you. Didn't fire your coaching staff. You didn't fire your general manager over that. Then what the fuck are you gonna do? Dominic Palmer, what's up, Big Dom? I think there's a need to completely clean house. Head coach, offense coordinator, defense coordinator, GM. Hell, I'm thinking about fucking firing the parking lot attendants. No, I actually like the parking lot attendants. I feel bad because there are a lot of great people that work at the stadium. And anyone, James will tell you, Big L will tell you, people will tell you, I talk to everybody. I talk to everyone when I go to the stadium. I literally talk to everyone. So, and I know everyone. Even going with the Knicks. And I laugh because I took James to a Knicks game not that long ago. And I don't sit on the court. I sit on the floor, which is one row behind the court side. And I love it because you have the ushers there and you have to go down. No, it was actually Big L. I'm sorry. You got to go down the stairs. And I love it because I walk up and I was going to show I can't remember her name. I feel bad. I was going to show her my ticket. She's like, you know where to fucking. She literally told me, you know where to fucking sit. It's like she's like, I don't have to show you. I was like, I don't need to take this abuse. Then I'm hugging another usher. It's the same thing with Giant Stadium. Like I know Coach Club. I know all the bartenders. And I know all the people that serve, and because I've been there so long, and I feel bad for them because they have to deal with all this shit. So keep everyone that works on the staff. Mr. Howard says, I had to double check on the Giants official website. We're looking at the question is, why the hell is Kevin Nabors still the cap manager? He and Mara asses are ruining the franchise. You're right. Oh my God. Can we get over Barkley? We couldn't really win with him and have Odell. And Giants guy, here's Giants guy here. I'm going to help you out because you seem kind of fucking stupid. So I'm going to help you out. We're saying that you're not going to win a playoff game with Saquon Barkley. We are saying that Saquon Barkley was the reason why the Giants won the limited amount of games that they did. You would subtract Saquon Barkley from the team. And I've said this before, you are literally a 2-win team. Has anyone realized Archie isn't coming out early? He's not coming out. You're right. All the Mannings have played 4 years, and he's not coming out after 2026. Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. Yeah, I like Cam Ward. Oh, Giant guy. We all know what's going to happen to Giant guy.
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Giant guy for being you're the first idiot of the day. You remember you're not banned. Well, I don't know if you watch the show. You're not banned. You're just blocked for 5 minutes because I don't want to deal with your stupidity. The Giants better drag Jackson Dart, Tim. Can't see it. I can't see it. I think Dart's got some upside. I think he's got some mobility. The way he's playing at Ole Miss. I just if I'm going to take a swing at somebody, how many times have we said this on this show? You'll never get a hit unless you swing the bat. And that was the thing with Daniel Jones. You never took any competition for him in 6 years. You never drafted a guy in the 3rd round. You never drafted a quarterback in the 1st round. You never drafted a project guy because the fact that we didn't want to have Daniel Jones have any competition because then he would fold like a cheap tent. But you never did these things. So now we're sitting there trying to figure out we need a quarterback. But if I'm going to OG Knockout, if I'm going to take a quarterback, I want to take the best one in my mind. And those two guys, this is like the 22 draft with Pickett and Willis. But the difference is I think that Sanders and Ward are kind of like Stroud and Young. I don't know if they're going to be on the same level of play of CJ Stroud, but I think those are the two guys. These are the two guys. So if I'm going to swing, I'm swinging big. Tim sings time. It's always time. Giant guy. I love Todd. What do you have to say? He's gone. He's been gone less than a season. Yeah, he's going to be talked. Let's give him something. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it. Let's give him something to talk about. Let's talk about love. Even Nabors isn't the fucking quarterback savior. He was drafted to be. I fucking hate this front office. Give me the money. I would rather have us in a better place than this. I have nothing against the Nabors pick at 6. I have an issue of why you made that pick at 6. You did it to go against all NFL conventional wisdom to draft a wide receiver to save your 6-year quarterback. Now the wide receiver is still here, and that 6-year quarterback didn't even make it to week 11. Mr. J, and even Nabors isn't. Oh, we got that one off Broadway. What's up, Big Tim? Can I say at least we can tank consistently? We tank well. I still love it the other day because like I said, it's good. No good. Oh, Tim is invited to the barbecue. He knows Rob Bass. Oh shit. You want to talk about old school 80s rap and hip hop? I'm the guy. We've talked about how many times we talked about this in the show, Greg. I still have, I think it was 1982. I still have my Cool Mo D LL Cool J rap battle tape when they had a little beef going on. Parcells is like 700 years old, but he knows football. Now you can't bring in Parcells. Parcells did his time in Tampa back in the early 2000s when he or what is kind of mid 2000 when he did the whole thing with Chad Pennington. He's not coming back here. Gruden is the best fit. Gruden, I know Big John. I don't know him personally, but I work for him. So yeah, I mean, I don't think the Gruden. It's not an act, and I don't even want to call it that. I don't think the Gruden personality. He was perfect for Tampa. He was perfect for Oakland. I don't think his personality is going to play well in the media. And I've said this before. You can be a dick in your press conferences. You can be Parcellian. You can be Belichickian. But here's the problem. You need to win. If you don't win, then it doesn't matter how Belichickian you are. They're just going to think you're an asshole. I said the same thing with Kayvon Thibodeau and Malik Neighbors. You could be loud. You could be boisterous. You could tell me you're getting a sack a game your rookie season, then put up 4.5. You could tell me how you're going to set the league on fire and you're making bets with Jaden Daniels about who's going to be the rookie of the year. But if you don't back the shit up, it doesn't matter. They say I'm cocky. I say, what? I ain't bragging, motherfucker, if you back it up. But you don't. Let's see. Gruden got scapegoated, 600 plus emails, and he's the only one that said anything inappropriate. Yeah, bullshit. Listen, the NFL locker room, when I was in and around the league in the early 2000s, the NFL locker room was not, I'm going to say it now. The NFL locker room is not PG. It's not G. It's rated X. And the machismo and the masculinity and the testosterone, these are the things that you get. This is the stuff this is what you get. And this is the way they talk. This just it. Like it, dislike it. That's life. And John Gruden putting in things in emails. I would tell you there were some emails that I've seen in the NFL that make you cringe, make you blush, and make a Marine blush. But that's just what the league is at times and was. What did John Gruden say? I forget. Do you remember? I don't remember exactly. It was homophobic. It was homophobic. I remember that. But listen, I'm not even gonna get into it. New York State of Mind says, I feel the money they gave Jones should have been used to better the O-line. They could have kept Saquon and the quarterback and have more success, even though Jones wasn't the guy. You needed an extra couple million for Saquon Barkley. You don't give that to Joe. You don't give that to Drew Lock. You got your Barkley money. Did you see the coming in quarterbacks being great or a bust? This is a bad draft. This is a bad draft for quarterbacks. Last year was the draft. I said it before. If it was me, I would have traded back, gotten Michael Penix, and I would have traded either back in or back up a little bit and grabbed Keenan Coleman. Did a whole video about it. That's what I would have done. Because then you have salary cap flexibility. You don't have to worry about having this albatross of a contract around 2 years. Guys, you guys that have been in this, guys and gals that have been in this chat and been on this show will tell you, I said the day the ink dried, if Daniel Jones gets injured or flames out, this contract will set the team back 5 years. Let's count it out here, guys. Let's count it out one last time. 2023, 2024. You draft a quarterback in 2025. You hope he matures in 2026. You hope you fix everything by 2027. There's 5 years. I kept telling people, Giants may be good again in 2027. Build the offensive line. Go from there. Start overhauling the players you have on this roster. They're not good players. You're right, because it's bad talent evaluation. Giant guy is forgetting he had Eli when he should have been retired. He did. Giant guy is gone. I feel so bad for Giant guy, but I don't. Hey, Zach Attack, what's up? We are running out of people to blame. I'm beginning to think, Zach, that somehow this is all my fault. I don't know why, but I think this is my fault now. Before I head to work at Whole Foods, glad I can tune in Tim. Let's go Big Blue. Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. Whole Foods. I love Whole Foods. Just we have partners and sponsors on this show: Mint Mobile, Yiso Fitness, SMHU, couple. I can't. You know what? People are going to get mad at me because I can't remember the other ones, and that's not good. I shouldn't have mentioned this if I couldn't remember the other names. Magic Mind. Whatever. But I love Whole Foods. I was actually literally just talking to my wife about Whole Foods. Because they moved our Whole Foods. Marvin, what's up? Starving like Marvin, girl. My brats come in packs like Sammy and Dean Martin. What's up? Everything's good, my brother. Let's see here. Let's see. New York State of Mind could have been Saquon Barkley with the money that they gave Burns. So we're not even going to talk about that. You literally could have kept Saquon Barkley. You don't sign Runyon. You don't sign Locke. You have Barkley. You don't trade for Brian Burns. You have cap space, Barkley, and McKinney. Saint fans were louder on TV than the New York Giants fans. Saints fans, it was bad. Even my wife goes when we're watching the game, and I said I wasn't going to watch, but I can't not watch. Even my wife goes, there's not a lot of giant blue in the stands. Shane and Daboll need to go, period. But the Giants are idiots, and they'll probably fire Daboll and keep Shane. You're right. Giant guy is really pissed. Barkley doesn't suck in Philly. Get over it, bro. Giant guy is gone. Raise your hand. Don't you just love banning people? If you love banning people, raise your hand. Because I love banning people. Well, you don't get banned. You just get checked. You just get put in timeout for 5 minutes. I love putting people in timeout. A giant guy they could have built around Saquon. You're right. They could have. What does Marvin say? Joe Shane is the worst GM in Giant history. Everything he has done has turned into disaster. Saquon on the verge of the rushing for over 2,000 yards. Look at Xavier McKinney, Julian Love, and where is Darren Waller? Marvin said this before. Julian Love misread the market, came back to the Giants hat in hand and said, listen, 2 years, $8 million, whatever it was, I come back. You offered him $10 million a year and he was going to take 60% less. And you said no. You have a homegrown talent that it came into his own his last season here. And you said no. I like the safeties we have. Listen, Tyler Newman to me is a good kid, but he should be a linebacker. We already went into a video, so I'm not going to say anything. Razzle the Great says shoulder tackles are like arm tackles. They aren't tackles. There we go. Razzle the Great gets it. Why doesn't the Giants get it? Let's see here. What's up? The only fans chicken flashing their Hooters. Did a Giant fan really pay her? If so, this team is an embarrassment and they need to be cut. I don't know. It's this whole thing is garbage. I mean, like I said, I would not go to the Baltimore game, but a bunch of us that are on this channel that come on, we're going to do a barbecue. And I keep thinking to myself, we should just go to a bar. Shannon Irish Rose, another partner. Clifton, New Jersey. We should just go to a bar. Marvin is right. Joe Shane is the worst GM in Giant history. Andy Robustelli was pretty bad. He was pretty bad. I'm trying to think who else would I would say is the worst. Gettleman, if you take a look at Gettleman, it's not like it was not like it was horrible. You know, the Giants have only had 7 GMs since 1947. Andy Robustelli was pretty bad. I would actually have to go with Robustelli if I had to pick. But I would go, if I had to put him as worst GMs ever, I would go Robustelli 1. I would go Shane 2. I would then go Gettleman, Ray Walsh, and then I would probably go, I'm forgetting some people. I would probably then go Jerry Reese, Ernie Corsi, George Young being the best. If I had to select. I gotta ask Tim why you dislike Neighbors. I don't dislike Neighbors at all. It was not his fault. He was drafted into a dumpster fire and put the worst quarterback position in the league, but putting him on the most teams, he'd be teaming. I don't dislike Neighbors. I dislike Neighbors' attitude a lot. I believe in old school hierarchy in sports. You haven't put in your time in the league. I don't think you should talk. I don't think you should be the voice out of the locker room when your season, you have the second most targets in the league. You have Brian Thomas Jr. has equally as poor quarterback play. Better than you. Playing better than you. And I've said this before. How the fuck Malik Neighbors does not break one? By sheer accident. You would think he would get around someone for like a 60-yard touchdown. We talked about if you compare Kadarius Toney's rookie season and extrapolate it over, you have Malik Neighbors. Go back and look, guys. And Kadarius Toney only played in 10, started 4. But let's just say Kadarius Toney played in 17. You're not that far off from Malik Neighbors. The plane was right. The plane was the sign that the Giants are cleaning house. Planes and the only fan girl. They really do need to. Mr. Alvarez says Joe Schoen definitely had the audacity when he told Frank Gore and all the people that the running backs have a limited shelf life. What an arrogant POS. Here's my thing. Conventional wisdom in sports, especially biologically, is that your peak year is usually between 26 and 28. And then around 29 going to 30, start usually a career downcline. So most people say, and most athletes will have their peak year around 27. So you had like 2 peak seasons or maybe 3 peak seasons, which was a 3-year contract, would have been Saquon Barkley. But no, we're simply just not that smart. Laughing Elephant. I just love that name. Simple fact that the ownership refused to put the best possible turf in the stadium is always a huge red flag. I have been bitching about this new turf for how long now, guys? First day I walked on that turf. This is it right here. That's me walking on the turf. The first day. Picked up my phone and said, we could have put in Kentucky bluegrass. We could have done a lot of things. But we use this turf and look at the fucking seams on this turf. That is a seam in the turf. Now, I assumed the turf would have gotten better. I was just on the field about a week ago. No, the turf hasn't gotten any better. You went cheap. Teams made the Giants plans just to try and stop Saquon. That's what they did. And I love it because you had the one guy. What's our identity if we don't have Saquon? Well, our identity is a 2-win team. Arch should refuse to come here no matter what he says come out. Moronic fans are going to expect him to instantly fix everything about the team. Archie Manning Sr. has come out and said he wants him to go to Dallas. Eli joined the team. Who literally played in the Super Bowl. Arch would be joining a team that is nowhere near that. You're right. What's up, Mr. Rogers? What's up, Tim? I feel like the Giants have the opportunity to blow up and start over completely with a new GM, head coach, and to pick their quarterback. How do you feel about Frank Reich being a potential coach? No, I don't like Frank Reich. Don't like Frank Reich, and I don't like Mike Vrabel. Don't know who I like. Honestly, at this point in time, I can't tell you who I like. I'm just trying to get out of the season. Could have drafted Jordan Travis at FU, who broke his leg. We could have, but we didn't. OG says, okay, I said get Bo Nix last year. The Giants fans thought I was crazy. Look now. I'm going to give you credit for Bo Nix, but I'm also not going to give you full credit. You get partial credit for Bo Nix. This is like a test. You get partial credit because Bo Nix ran into the perfect situation with a quarterback coach in Sean Payton. Russell Wilson didn't want to change and adapt to Sean Payton. Bo Nix is a rookie, so Sean Payton can mold him. Same thing with Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. Matt LaFleur took Love and made him into a 4,000-yard quarterback who got $200 million, made Malik Willis into a 3-0 quarterback. There are people in this league that know how to work with quarterbacks. So I'm going to give you get partial credit. So you got a B+. The moment that Saquon Barkley breaks the rushing record, that's when Joe Schoen should be fired. Listen, the banner, the OnlyFans, and 2 wins. That's when he should be fired right now. Let's see. The biggest lie was that they were told Daboll is a quarterback whisperer and developed Josh Allen. Allen worked on his own mechanics with a quarterback coach, and this is the reason why he is what he is, not Daboll. Yeah. We said it the year after Daboll left because everyone's like, look, Josh Allen just fell apart without Brian Daboll. He had one less touchdown, 2 more interceptions, and more yards. Or he had 1 more touchdown, more yards, and 2 more interceptions without Brian Daboll. Josh Allen's been fine without Brian Daboll. Oh, when do the freaks come out? The freaks come out at night. The freaks come out at night. What's up, Greeny Green? That's when the freaks come out. Let's see here. Gruden isn't a fit with Mara. Oh, no, Gruden would not fit with Mara. Oh, what's up, Montana? Hey, my brother. If you could let one staff member go, who would you pick? If I could let one go. I am going with I'm going with one, and that's the entire staff. I'm including that as one. Everybody. I was going to make a joke about Neighbors being a coach and the quarterback killer because Jones is a quarterback killer. Give me Kyle McCord with the first pick. Oh, you cannot take Kyle McCord. I know, Gravy. It's.
Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
I hope that's sarcasm because Kyle McCord is not going to be the first pick. Tim, and I like Kyle McCord out of Syracuse, but it's just not going to happen. Tim, it's time to bring back Jerry Reese. I would bring back Jerry Reese. Hey, Tim, I'll visit you on Sunday. What live? I don't know yet. I have to get. It's right now. It looks like it's going to be Swing Culture TV and some of his friends, James Williams and his girlfriend, T. Brad and his wife, Big L, I think, and his wife is coming. We're trying to see if Chris for Love of MMA is going. I'm going with Mrs. Online Big Blue. And I know I'm forgetting some people, but I will let you know. I will DM you and I will let you know where we're going to be. Trust me, you can't miss me. Trust me, you can't miss me. You just can't. I'm very loud. Eric, sup, peeps? What's up? I find these live streams so chaotic. What is it, Catherine? I can't read today. I don't have my glasses on. I didn't put my contacts. I didn't want to wear my glasses because I didn't want to look old. The bags in my eye look old because I'm extremely tired. But I didn't put my contacts in either. LL Cool J stands for Ladies Love Cool James. That's like me. I believe Dart is going to be similar to Dak. If you can get him in the second round and grab Hunter, I wouldn't be mad. Hunter's going first. Travis Hunter's going first overall. Joe Shane decision to draft Neighbors would be without a quarterback is akin to entering the last game wilderness armed with a bullet and no gun. Yeah. I go to the range a lot. And I laugh because I went with a buddy of mine the other, but it's a couple, like 3 weeks ago. And he's got his gun bag and he gets to the range and he opens up the bag. He didn't put any firearms in the bag. He had bullets. So we're standing at and I know the people at the range, and yes, I know it's not proper etiquette. But I can get away with a lot because I know everybody. So I'm standing at the range and he's like, well, I'll just shoot with your guns. I said, no. I said, okay. I was like, no problem. So I said, no. I said, better yet, why don't you shoot with yours? So I took the bullets and I started throwing them at him. So he didn't like that. Tony says the Giants should have drafted Michael Penix. I agree. Arm talent is special. He is left-handed, a better athlete than he gets credit for, and they can definitely run Daboll's system. They dropped the ball. They did. I wanted Penix. I said my draft was Penix, Keenan, Coleman. This draft in 2019 all over again. We reach for a quarterback. Shane is desperate. GMs make decisions to save their job, not improve the team. The problem is this: to improve the team and save your job, it's got to be a quarterback. Don't forget to hit the like, because if you don't, I don't know what I'm gonna do. We got a bunch of people watching on another social media platform right now, so I want to welcome all those. I can't say it because when you say that other social media platform, the Giants, YouTube gets mad and kicks you down on the analytics. But I want to thank all the other people that start on a Terminator X. Now I got Rebel Without a Pause in my head. Gotta slow down. Hey, Tim, I'm in favor of firing Joe Shane. I'm not in favor of firing Joe Shane and Brian Daboll because the franchise will never be good firing coaches every 2 years. It would be 4 years. We would be firing before year 4. So just throwing that there. Throwing out there. Strider says, I understand that the shoulder tackle thing, our DBs think they are passing for the Muscle Fitness magazine. That's why they suck. Razzle says, how much time is Merritt actually going to give the GM Joe to fix this mess? You caused the, okay, not to get political, but I'm going to get political for a moment. You had Kamala Harris running for office under the stance that she was going to fix the mess for the last 3.5 years, but it's like you're part of the people that caused the mess, and now you're going to fix it? So why didn't you fix it 3.5 years ago, not an election year? So now Joe Schoen, people are like, well, Joe Schoen's going to fix it. You caused the mess. You caused all the issues, Joe. The bad trades, the bad free agents, the bad drafts, the bad hires. You're the problem. Terminator X. Oh, hey, Tim, picture your Sanders now with the situation. Would you be better between the Giants or the Raiders? Honestly, I think Sanders would be better off in Vegas. Career-wise, I think he'd be better off in Vegas. Because honestly, if you want me to say it, I think he'd be better off with the Cowboys. Because I think they would fire McCarthy and bring in Sanders as the coach. Tim, how do you feel if they got rid of Joe Schoen? I'd be happy. I'd be happy. I'm going to go out and do the Cabbage Patch. Theo Johnson didn't play yesterday. He's on the IR. Where are the Ghost Brothers? Well, let's see where the Ghost... Well, we'll have to find the Ghost Brothers for you. Problem is, I was on 17. I have to go to 200 and something for the Ghost Brothers. Oh, here we go. Ghost Brothers is 188.
Submitted for your approval. The Ghost Brothers. Nobody needs to be afraid.
Big Razzle says smash that like, and if you don't listen to Razzle, I don't know why, because he's great. Oh, where are the Ghost Brothers? They're right there. DJ always gave me imposter syndrome vibes. That's actually a great way to put it. David wanted to come on. I'm going to put the link in the chat because David said he wanted to come on. So hopefully David's out there somewhere. So I'm put that out there for you, David. I got some other people that said they want to come on. So, listen, if you want to come on, guys, just email me, DM me. Everyone can come on. It's all good. Theo Johnson is out for the season. Yep, he is. Evan says, Tim, I agree. It's if you are not productive as the players, you don't talk. I don't care if you run your mouth as a player. I ran my mouth. I ran my mouth a lot. I ran my mouth big time. I still run my mouth. But I always backed it up. That's the problem. You got to back this shit up. You can't come in and say that, well, they want me to talk, but have 3 touchdowns and multiple drops and second in the league in drops when you're second in the league in targets. What's up, Greg? We transitioned from a general manager who never utilized analytics to one who lacks common sense and relies solely on analytics. Still love it to this day, certain Giant fans. Giants are going to start having great drafts now, guys, because of the fact that they revamped the draft room. There is now neon in the draft room, which means success. Neon equates to its success. David, I see you. David, can you hear me?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. You requested a moment. You requested a presence with the king. You requested this time to talk about Giants. Thank God I don't think highly of myself. What's up, my brother? What do you want to say?
Well, you're absolutely right when you say I requested time with the king, because I don't want to blow smoke up your butt. But, man, you were the first one. And I told you, I listened to 3 other, I'm not going to say who they are, but 3 other.
Say who they are.
So, well, you're going to get upset with me. You're going to get upset with me, I say.
I'm not going to get upset with you. Who are they? I'm not going to get upset with you, I promise.
So I listened to you first, always.
Okay.
Talking Giants.
Okay.
And then Fireside Giants.
Okay, yeah, he was right. I was going to get upset with him. He was right. He probably shouldn't have stayed there with that one. Sorry. Sorry. No, that's okay. I always tell people you need to listen to other voices.
But here's what I got to say, though, Tim. You were the first one that started talking about Joe Schoen and what he was doing, and I think you started with the salary cap. I think that was the first
Yes.
smoke signal where you're like, something's not right here. Something's going on. It's not right. And I was like, honestly, at the time, I was like, man, I kind of like Joe Schoen. I like what he's doing a little bit. I don't know why, but I was like, let's see, let's get this guy time. And man, you turned me on him because, dude, how do you not get fired? If you don't get fired for letting go, and I've said this all along, you said it for the first time that I've heard today, but he's a gold jacket running back, right? Saquon he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's going to be, and you don't even get anything for him, and you still have your job. So I wanted to do this with you, Tim. Let's do this. Let's do a little role play. You ready for this?
Okay.
All right. So check it out. So I'm gonna be John Mara. You're gonna be Joe Schoen.
Okay. Okay.
We got a meeting. All right. You just come into the office. All right, Joe. Listen, as you know, things are not going well. Sell me on why you should keep your job. What have you done to build this team? I got to know.
Well, I look good in a turtleneck. And did you see me with the binoculars the other day when I was looking through the binoculars? I look good. I'm a good-looking dude. And my wife likes to bedazzle shit. So right there, I should stay. There's no, but to your point, there's no, I mean, if you question somebody like that, to your point, there's no response. What are you going to say? What about Brian Burns? Okay, well, when you gave a 2 and a 5, and then you swapped 5s, and then you gave him $120 million for 5 sacks or 6 sacks, and he's not doing what he needs to do. I mean, as to your point, what is the Joe Schoen defense? You can't talk about the salary cap because you traded Leonard Williams because you didn't have enough money to sign a quarterback. And of course, he just runs an interception back 96 yards. You didn't even pitch anything to Xavier McKinney, and he's only now the best safety in the league. We all know what happened with Saquon Barkley. You don't sign Brian Burns. You have Saquon Barkley, but if you needed extra money and don't sign Drew Lock, you have Saquon Barkley. There is literally no other. You brought in Brian Daboll. You brought in you don't listen to people that are on your own staff, such as when you asked Shane Bowen, what do you need to be successful in your defense? 2 linebackers and a defensive tackle. So you go out and get Brian Burns.
It doesn't make any, and I said, when they signed him, I said, this is Olivier Vernon 2.0, which honestly, Olivier Vernon could at least handle the run. I mean,
one good season and the Giants made the playoffs.
Right. So, I mean, he's worse than Olivier Vernon, in my opinion. I shouldn't say Burns is good, right? But he's not what the expectation that Joe had for him. I think Joe just made some panic moves, man, because look, what in the world has he done? Look at what the Vikings have done. Like they drafted JJ McCarthy. He's out the door because he got hurt, and they bring Sam Darnold in, and they're still a contender. They could sit down and say, here's what we've done. What in the world has Shane done? He's done nothing but mess this team up worse.
The Atlanta Falcons have Kirk Cousins. Not that he's having a great season right now, but they have Kirk Cousins and draft Penix. Why? Because you can never have enough quarterbacks.
I'll give you another example. The Patriots, right? They bring in Drake May, and then they also drafted Joe Milton at the end of the draft. So the more bullets you have in the gun, the better. And we keep bringing this guy, and Danny Dimes, who, I mean, my goodness, like the reality is that he had no competition, like you said. Where's the competition for this guy? Where's the competition for him?
None. They've said before they didn't want to bring competition in. They've talked about that years ago. They talked about it. And how can you better yourself, even as anyone, even as a player, even as a person, if you're not competing against somebody?
Doesn't make any sense. And just one more point, man, when, with the whole Hard Knocks thing, the part that I really started to turn on Joe Schoen, honestly, in my mind anyway, on him was in Hard Knocks. I don't know if you saw this, but the one thing that stood out to me was when they were getting ready to talk about the draft coming up, and I don't know if you remember, he was sitting down and he's like, all right, so if May's not available, here's what we're going to do. Like he was just pitching it to Mara and the guys. Then it's like, I don't think Howie Roseman comes in and is like, hey, what do you guys think about? Howie Roseman wants to go to bed at nighttime and think about different ways to eat your heart out of your freaking chest.
Yeah.
And Joe Schoen is pitching, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, no, dude, grow a pair and freaking do what's best for the team. And I just, I don't know, man. I'm done.
He talent evaluation's not there. My thing with Joe Schoen and Hard Knocks, and I think the scene that everyone talks about, but there's a point in the scene that I really think really got to me is the John Mara situation. When John Mara basically told him, John Mara told him, I'm not going to sleep well at night if Saquon goes to Philly. And Joe Schoen looks at him with this moment of disgust. And almost like you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. And he had this smirk in his face too, right? Yeah, this little smirk.
It's this smirk on his face. And then, I live near Philadelphia. And I've talked about this before. Joe Schoen sitting there going, well, the Bears are driving up the price and Philly's out. The entire free agency for Saquon Barkley, if you lived in the Philadelphia area, if you sat there and listened to Philly sports radio, they all thought Barkley was going to the Eagles. I mean, you literally had that. They were all waiting for Howie to pull the coup and bring Saquon in. It seemed like Joe Schoen was the only one that didn't understand he was going to go down. He's going south down 95 right into Philly.
It's almost like these guys don't follow football. Like it really feels like these guys just aren't even in tune with what's going on in the world. I mean, and he's the freaking GM. So I don't know. You turned me on him, man. But
Well, I didn't mean to turn you on him. I was just
no. I don't mean. But I should say you were the first one to blow the smoke signals. Like, guys, something's wrong here. And I was one of the. Forgive me. I was one of the guys like, no, I don't know about that. I feel like he's gonna turn some things around, man. And I think Mara, honestly, the other thing that I got at Hard Knocks is I don't think Mara has. I don't think he meddles as much as people thought.
I agree with that. I agree with you 100% with that. I don't think Mara's mid 2000 James Dolan of the Knicks. I don't think he's that way.
Yeah.
I think Mara stays back a little bit. Yes, he's not, I don't think he's omnipresent, and this is what people don't get about NFL franchises. Even if you're a GM, if you want to sign someone to a $200 million contract, or you want to make a trade and give a guy $160 million, $120 million, yeah, you're going to ownership. You're going to clear it with the guy that writes the checks. So when people are like, well, John Mara is always involved because they're always going to the owner. No, you have a franchise worth $1 billion. Yeah. If I'm going to give someone $240 million, $160 million, or whatever it is, you're going to have to go to ownership. That's why he's the president and CEO of the Giants.
Yeah, and we think about now, just how bad things have turned. It would be an absolute, remarkable, complete 180 turnaround if they somehow were to turn this thing around. And I hope Mara's not willing to see if it comes to that point, because it's just not going to happen. There's no way they're turning this, from what they've proven, what they've showed us. When I say they, I mean, Shane and his team, whatever you want to call it, have proven that they can do anything right, in my opinion.
How long have you been following the Giants?
So it's funny you asked that question. So I was sick in the hospital in 1984 with a rare disease, and my dad was in the hospital room shaking me, getting excited about the Giants. We were watching them on the TV. I was in the hospital for a month, man, and my dad loved the Giants. He still had the old starter jacket. So that's when I really kind of 1984 is how long I've been following.
You came in 9-7 after 3-12-1. First year, Phil Simms throws for over 4,000 yards. First Giant quarterback to ever do that. They go to the playoffs. They get the playoff win. You know what happened in 95? 85. You know what happened in 86? Except for the whiff punt by Sean Landeta at 85 that playoff game. So you actually came in at a good period in time in Giant history.
Yeah,
because you came into that first winning season through the 90s. So your experience of ineptitude really kind of falls more into the Dave Brown, Denny Cannell, and Graham era. So you've never really truly experienced because you just missed 3-12-1. So you've never really truly experienced the this has been bad for 10 plus years now.
Well, my dad experienced it because he was.
Your dad did.
Yeah, for sure.
Your dad definitely did. My father did as well. But you didn't get to experience that. As a fan and I always think Giant fans are also football fans, but as a fan of the Giants and of football, how hard and this is for John Mara. This is a Giant fan since '84. How hard has these last 6-7 years been to your fandom for this team?
It's so tough, dude. And so I live in Charlotte, North Carolina now. I'm from Jersey originally, but I live in Charlotte, and I have. So you're right. I have Panthers season tickets. And I was hoping to go to the Panthers Giants, but then they announced they're going to be in Germany. Actually, I'm kind of glad that they didn't. But so I am a football fan. I'm a fan of the game, and honestly, man, like to sit here, especially like somebody else said it this way. This is all about memories. Watching these games together. There's memories being made, right? And like to see where we've been in these past 6 or 7 years. I mean, and again, I'm going to speculate. I think it all started when Mara decided to get rid of Tom, and the way he did it, the way he kind of, carted him out of that, that meeting, like that was, I think Jerry Reese probably needed to go. But, I was thinking about it today, man. Everybody was calling for Tom for Mara to get rid of Tom at that time. Everybody was,
But he had a couple bad seasons.
Yeah, they were complaining about. But at the same time, I don't think it was Tom. Especially the way that they did what they did to Tom. At Mara. The way. Remember when he wouldn't even shake his hand? Do you remember that? Like
walked right off the stage, just walked right by him.
That's right. Yeah.
Right, just walked right by him. And like I said, Coughlin is a great guy. And like I said, I've met Tom a couple times. I told the story that how during a Giant dinner, Judy Coughlin kidnapped my son because he was a youngster, and I was holding him, and she says, "Oh, can I hold your kid?" And I said, "Oh yeah, sure." And then my wife came back from the bathroom and goes, "Where's our son?" I was like, "Well, Judy Coughlin."
Yeah, that's a cool.
She's like, "Who's Judy Coughlin?" I said, "I think it's okay because she's married to the head coach of the Giants. So I don't think he's going to run off with the kid." But Tom, to me, it was time to move on because of the fact that certain times you reach a point where the players drown out the coach. They don't listen.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
But I think the way they did it to Tom was what caused the animosity and the issues. And like I said, you kind of go back to, it's a lineage of mistakes that they have made. Kind of honestly, we want to have a breaking point since Tom Coughlin's firing. It really has been a lineage of mistakes over and over and over and over again, from bad head coaches to bad draft decisions to bad general managers to hanging on to players so long. If you're Mara, what are you doing with Coughlin? Coughlin. Now you got that stuck in my head. What are you doing with Daboll and Schoen?
So, look, the reality is, I listen to your other podcast as well, man. You're a pretty smart dude. So I know you're familiar with the sunk cost fallacy. I think we have a sunk cost at this point, right? So you got to make a clean break.
Why don't you just quickly explain that, what you're saying?
Yeah. So, there's a point where like a sunk cost where you have to realize it's time to move on. Otherwise, if you keep trying to perpetuate this error and trying to drag it out, it's just going to make it worse. It's like trying to clean up that chocolate milk on the cafeteria table with cafeteria napkins, So I honestly, there were some redeeming factors I thought of Joe Schoen at the beginning, but I don't think there's any now. But I do think there's some redeeming factors about Daboll. I do. But I just think that the timing sucked for him. I think that, I don't know, man. I think it's time to make but I don't have any answers from there. It's funny. I want to ask you the same question. I don't have the answers from there. Who do you see as the answer from there? So you move on from Schoen, you move on from Daboll. What do you do next?
I've said this before, and it doesn't have to be Belichick. You bring someone in as vice president of football operations. You kind of did what Parcells did those years in Miami, which was funny because I got fired the year before Parcells came into Miami. But you come in and you bring someone in that oversees everything, and they oversee all operations, and they hire the general manager, and then the general manager and the vice president of football operations work together and hire the head coach and kind of have a collective, kind of have a Borg mentality process. When you watched Hard Knocks, one of the things that pissed me off is Joe Schoen always thought he was the smartest guy in the room. We've said that many times on this channel. When you think you're the smartest guy in the room, you're usually the dumbest. He never listened. You could tell he was extremely dismissive of ideas and questions from his own staff. Build a staff where everyone is working together as a singular goal and everyone has a voice. Everyone has an opinion. You may not take that person's opinion. You may not value that person's opinion, but you listen to the opinion, because sometimes, this in life, you miss something. And sometimes it takes your wife or your boyfriend or your husband or whomever to stop you and say, hey, listen, you're not seeing this. You're not seeing the forest through the trees. You're not seeing what's going on. And I think if you literally build a cult, and I think Belichick would be perfect at this, because I think what you could do with Belichick is have him get the general manager and have him build a foundation with the head coach, give Belichick like 3-4 years, and then just have him leave. And I think that's what he would do at 70 plus years old. I don't think he would be a Phil Jackson and, like I said, with the Knicks, where he doesn't want to be there, but you literally just have him have the ability to build the foundation, build the right guys, then have them move on and have him move on, and then have the framework for an organization. Cause I don't think there's a framework here anymore.
I agree with you.
And I think after Coughlin, that was it.
It looks just like it's like a hodgepodge of like these, and same with the team too, right? It's like a hodgepodge of these folks that just don't seem to go together well, and there's no uniter, in my opinion. And I'll tell you, they should fire everybody except for one guy. You know who the one guy is that they shouldn't fire?
Brandon Brown.
No, I don't hold the same opinion of Brandon. I didn't see anything special about Brandon Brown. I think he's probably a great dude, but I don't know that I saw anything.
Brandon Brown did say, which I thought was very apropos, that when you draft a wide receiver, you don't have to draft a choir boy. You're not looking. You're gonna get a diva wide receiver. You need to bring him in. We all can't find a Victor Cruz. So what's the one? I got to hear this. What's the one guy you're keeping?
Dude,
I gotta hear this.
Did you see? There's this. It's a post going around, but it's from Hard Knocks, and it's when they're in the room. And there's one dude that says to Shane, "Are you sure that there's nobody else that's going to take him for that number?"
Yeah, he's got the vest on.
Yeah. He's like, "Are you sure?" And Shane's like, "What do you think he's going to go for? Whatever 12, whatever the number is, right?"
There's a lot of running backs on the market.
That's right. Yeah. And he goes, "Any difference makers though?"
No.
And
I loved his response, because he goes, "Well, who would sign him?" And he's like, anyone with cap room.
And Howie always figures out to make sure there's a way to have cap room. And I don't know much, like you talk about the cap a lot, and I'm trying to be a student of the cap. So there's a lot of folks that talk about how Howie keeps kicking the can down the road and it's not going to be sustainable. I don't know anything about that. He still figures out a way to make it happen. So I don't know enough about that.
You want me to explain to you the Howie Roseman philosophy? I will explain to you just by Jalen Hurts' contract. What Howie does is he doesn't kick the can down the road. He gives all the money up front in signing bonuses, and he makes the initial cap numbers so heavy in the beginning that he can't move on from the players. And what happens is Jalen Hurts came out and said, I want a contract, but I want a no trade clause. And Howie, in his infinite wisdom, said, okay, great. I'll give you that. No problem whatsoever. You want to know why? 2024, the dead cap number for Jalen, $120 million. 2025, the dead cap number, 107. 2026, the dead cap number, 52. So you're not moving on from him for at least 3 years. And then when you finally move on from that 3 years, it goes to $20 million. What do you think the cap number for Jalen is this year?
It sounds like it's going to be pretty low. Whatever the number is, doesn't sound like it's going to be much.
13 million.
Sheesh.
2025, it's 21 million, making 7.7%. He doesn't hit the $30 million number until 2026, where he's $30 million. And then he still only counts from 11% of the cap. Why? Howie Roseman gave him all that signing bonus, all that money up front, and then incurred the dead cap number of over $100 million for the first 2 seasons, because he's well aware, I'm not moving on from Jalen.
Do you agree with that model, Tim? Do you think that's a good model to follow?
If you have a quarterback who is taking you to a Super Bowl, who the team rallies around and who the team loves, yeah. If you have a player such as that, 100%. If he's going to be the thing right now, I know the wide receivers are talking a little bit right now in Philadelphia about not getting the ball enough. But if you watch the players that rally around Jaden since he's been there, they pick, especially the offensive linemen, they treat him like he's the kid brother. Mm-hmm. And that's when you have a player like that, where everyone just feels, he puts it all out in the field, and it's a risk, but they're probably going to the Super Bowl again. What, the second time in 4 years?
Right.
The same quarterback. I mean, that's why I kept saying the Daniel Jones deal wasn't a good deal because the way they structured it. Yeah, the first year was great, but it was the next two that you were going to be at 17.6% and 18.6% of the salary cap in 2 years. I mean, the same thing. You look at it and go, Jalen wasn't making the big money until 2027. And then the money is only a $20 million dead cap number if you want to get rid of him.
And at that time, the cap is going to increase by how much, to get to that point. And yeah. So it's crazy.
It's well thought. It's well thought out. It's well played out. And like I said, you got to give your rivals credit.
And that's why I say Howie goes to bed at nighttime thinking about different ways to eat your heart out of your freaking chest. And I think Joe Schoen goes to bed at nighttime thinking, I don't know what he's thinking, to be honest with you, but it's not that. And clearly it shows in the results. So we know that there's no redeeming factor really on what Joe Schoen has done in the past 3 years. Why where's the reason? I got to know. So for the folks that I think somebody in the comments had said earlier, I'd like to keep Joe Schoen and Bryant. Why? Give me a reason. I got to know. What is the reason? If there's anybody in the chat can respond to that.
I'm scrolling down because I got scrolling down here to see if anyone's got a reason. All right, guys. David wants a reason to keep Joe. Put in a reason. We want one quality reason, not besides the fact he looks good in a turtleneck. That's it. I know this because I look good in a turtleneck. So that's what that's what I know. So you're also a Panthers season ticket holder.
Well, it's because again, I'm a football fan. if no matter where I lived, I'd probably want to be a season ticket holder for that team just because I enjoy the game. I enjoy the game of football. I enjoy.
Yeah, that's what I always tell people. I for years I was a Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right. Yeah.
And I still live 2.5 hours away from Jacksonville. But I was like, you know what? I enjoyed football. The Jaguars were, not a great team, but they were a playoff contender. This was after Coughlin, but I enjoy the sport and I like going to it. So this is, I love that Razzles the Panthers season tickets must be a fraction of the cost.
Well, I don't know how much the season tickets are for the Giants, but I can tell you that Tepper is not the greatest owner in the world, David Tepper. But I mean, I think I paid. I mean, if you want to know, I think I paid like something like $2,000 for the season. Something I don't even know what it is.
How many seats?
2 seats. Yeah, 2 seats for $2,000 for the season.
I'm moving to Carolina.
It's that different. What are the Giants?
I don't even want to tell you what I pay. I literally don't even want to tell you what I pay because I don't want to know how much I pay. But I literally don't want to tell you how much I pay. Let's put it this way. Yeah. I each year I could be driving something instead of going to the game.
God. Yeah. So, I mean, to your point, when you say all the time, like, I don't even want, like, if Schoen and Daboll are back, why would you pay for it? Like, why would you do that?
Joe Rev. Here we go. We're getting some Joe Rev. I like Joe's haircut.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Matthew says the only reason is continuity, but do we really want to continue past 3 years? Hell no. Razzle is great. $2,000 for 2 seats the entire season. That's less than most people's rent. Joe Shane, I love this. Joe Shane thinks about going to bed thinking about milking cookies.
I think that's true. That's probably right.
Todd says, let's see, my cousin lives in North Carolina. He's a Panthers fan, oddly living in the upstate New York as a kid. He was a Seahawks fan for some reason. I have a lot of we have family that live in Raleigh. So and it's funny because they're all Giant fans. Let's see here, and over in Cary. James says, I've been a Giant fan since 1984. I've seen some bad teams, but the Super Bowl teams were the great years, especially with the last 2 Super Bowls. Eli beat the GOAT Tom Brady. Mara needs to hire Shane. Needs to fire, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant. Yeah.
That's fire there. I love this from Blackbird. Because Joe likes Uncrustables.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's true.
I think Damien says, I think he means fire. I have to agree. I do think he means fire as well.
Tim, did you get this when Joe was calling that scene where Joe was calling Saquon on the phone? Do you remember that scene? He was calling Saquon. You could tell they had no relationship.
None whatsoever.
And Saquon's like, what are you calling? Like, why are you calling me? Like, that's the mood that I felt anyway from it. Like, what do you want? Like, are you giving me money or not? And Shane tried to be like the cool guy. Like he he can just pick up the phone and dial his players like that.
Yeah.
There's no relationship there, man.
There's no relationship whatsoever. There was no, and it was funny though because he's like, "You in Jersey?"
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah."
Like, what do you want?
He's like, "Why are you calling me? Call my agent. Don't
Right.
call."
Right.
And then I love it because then he's like, "Well, promise me. You're gonna promise me?" I don't need to promise you shit.
Yeah, right.
you basically told me to go out and find out what my worth is and come back, and then you'll think about matching it.
I'll bet you Howie Roseman got him into the office and said, "All right, check it out. These guys are letting you, like, think about that. Would you let your girlfriend go shop around for another guy? Would you do that? Would you let her go say, hey, go see if there's anything better out there, then come? Like, would you do that? You know, Howie Roseman was putting the screws to him, like, we want you here, and we're going to roll out the red carpet for you." So,
I can't do that because my wife would be mad if I had a girlfriend. she probably wouldn't like that. No, but to your point, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's oh, wait a minute, what do we got? Uncrustable is a rich man peanut butter and jelly. That's my joke. Don't steal my jokes. Let's see here. Vinny G's, I don't care about changing the GMs and the coaches every couple of years. This Vinny G, I think, has got it summed up. And you and I talked about this for a little bit as well. If you continuously are making the same mistake, and that same mistake is believing in something ad nauseum with no facts to back it up, why would you continue to do something if all the data points to you have went from 7-2, 2-5-1, 6-11, 2-15? The arc is not going this way. The arc went like this, and then dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, and Daboll went from Bono to Bozo pretty quickly, right? So Mara had that right. You know, it's a funny tidbit, Tim. I actually went to the same high school that Howie Roseman went to, Marlboro High School in Marlboro, New Jersey. So
I know Marlboro well, Route 9.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
I know. Like I said, I'm from Central Jersey, even though there is no Central Jersey.
Oh, my girl just walked in. I'm gonna have to mute for 1 second.
Oh, go right ahead. He's like, I'm on the phone. Don't talk to me. But Razzle says, but changing GMs and coaches every few years is because you can't fix it. That's the problem. I think why do you want to continuously continue having a mistake? If it's a mistake and it's 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and you see it's a mistake out of continuity purposes, it doesn't make sense to be like, oh yeah, I'll keep the mistake.
Same thing with you made this point, I don't know how many episodes ago, but you made this exact point about moving on from your quarterback. I think you were talking about the Bills and how quickly I think they moved on from, who was it? Was it Tyrod that they moved, or somebody? They moved on. As soon as you recognize this isn't our guy to take us where we want to go, you cut the ties. And that didn't happen. You know, they somehow, I don't know if this guy had dirty pictures, or did Daniel Jones had dirty pictures on Mara or something, or what?
A lot of people think that.
But I mean, what was the reason? Like, the guy stares down his first read. Everybody, like, in your North Carolina, anywhere I go, everybody knew that this guy wasn't the guy, except for our front office. Why? They don't follow the game. They can't.
No, and I think, and I think if you think about, you started following the team in 84. So your quarterback was Phil Simms up to 93.
That's right.
And then you had the Dave Brown mess, and then, but then after the Dave Brown, Ken Graham, and Danny Cannell, you kind of fell into Kerry Collins.
That's right, Kerry Collins.
And then Kerry Collins takes us to the Super Bowl, and then we have a little bit of a
tough Super Bowl to watch, man.
I was there.
You were there? You were at that Super Bowl?
I was at that Super Bowl.
Oh, dude.
I was at that Super Bowl with the clients, and we had a suite, and then when Dixon ran it back, I was like, and then everything. I don't even want to talk about it. But then you ran into Eli Manning, from 2004 to when he left, and I think what happened is a segment of the fan base only knows 2004 Eli Manning through the Super Bowls. They never understood, and you kind of get this, but you never understood how bad things were at the quarterback position because you kind of always had one. That's and right. You always think that you draft a quarterback and he's going to be the guy. But you look at the Jets, they draft guys all the time. It's not the guy. So, we kind of got lucky. I mean, I started with Craig Morton, and Craig Morton was probably one of the worst Giant quarterbacks. I went from Craig Morton to even worse with Joe Pisarcik. And then Craig Morton to Joe Pisarcik, I go to, a couple of years with Sims, and then he has the injuries to Scott Bruner. Delaware Scott Bruner, he does win that one playoff game, but then the 1 year that he's got a full season to start is he throws 8 touchdowns to 22 interceptions. So I know that you don't always hit on your guys because I watched it. And I think there's a segment of the fan base that just doesn't understand that you don't always find an Eli Manning. You don't always find a Phil Simms. You don't always find a 16-year guy. I mean, you have teams that have never found it.
And I think that's why, and it makes sense now. I mean, like, it drives me nuts too whenever, like, you hear, we want to tank for number 1, we want to tank for number 2. I get that, but man, I mean, like, there's no guarantee in number 1 or number 2 or number 4, and there's no guarantees at all. So you said it best the other day. You said you're going to draft where you're going to draft. It's going to happen, right? Wherever you draft, you're going to draft. And I mean, where was Josh Allen? What number was he drafted at? What was Jalen Hurts drafted at? They weren't drafted at number 1, number 2.
Where was Tom Brady?
Tom Brady, right? Brady.
Where was Russell Wilson?
Right. Oh man, Russell Wilson. What another. That should be like, you look at your resume, Joe Schoen. You had Russell Wilson in the freaking airport, like we saw pictures of him in the airport, and you
were the first organization to have him in the building,
right?
And you sat there and told him, "Well, Joe, Dale Jones is our guy. You're only here to be the backup."
And his contract was paid for. His contract was paid.
He's taken veteran minimum. He took veteran minimum. I love Raz the Great says Green Bay is the outlier, 3 quarterbacks in the last 35 years.
That's true.
But then you also forget you had the Don Mikowskis. You had the Lynn Dickies. You went through a dearth in Green Bay Packer history before you finally ran into. I mean, you had John Mikowski was your quarterback before Brett Favre. So,
yeah, but
they take one playoffs with the Magic Man. He had one season, but yeah.
To that point, Tim, they had Aaron Rodgers, and look what they were doing. They were bringing in a quarterback to contest Aaron Rodgers, right? And now where's Aaron Rodgers now, right? So at least they're thinking about these. Like, where are the Giants thinking about a quarterback? The most. I mean, it is by far the hardest position, the hardest thing to do in professional sports is to draft a franchise quarterback. There's no doubt about that. It's the hardest thing you could possibly do, right? But why aren't they thinking about it? What are they doing? Who is this? I don't even know who our third string quarterback. Well, he's now our
Tom. What's his name? Tom or Tim Boyle?
Tim Boyle. That's right. Yeah, Tim Boyle. Is that a plan? Or is that that's a stopgap? Obviously, for right now. What's the plan? All right, so we're back in the office. John Mara, Joe Schoen. What is the plan, Joe? Tell me why you deserve another year. Tell me. I gotta know.
They always say running is not a plan. So
true.
And I think he kind of Tim Hurts Boyle. Yeah, I like that one's going right there. Thank you, Razzle. I don't think. I mean, we've talked about this before with Joe Schoen. When Joe Schoen first came in here, he said all the right things. And I mentioned numerous times I thought he didn't have any media savvy, that he was going to have to learn this. I don't think he ever learned it, but he said the right things. We're going to build through the draft. We're going to augment through free agency. We're going to find the potential building blocks. Then that 7-2 start happened. And I've told the story a million times that during the Washington game, the tie at home, they didn't let Daniel Jones throw in the end of the fourth quarter or in overtime. And Joe Schoen came running down the tunnel to watch the end of that game. And like I said, I got the video of it. I posted before, and I watched after the tie. Joe Schoen came running back up the tunnel, mouthing, "I can't believe we lost this fucking game."
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, and I laughed because I think I was there with Big Al, and I said, he just said, "I can't believe." And I showed him the video. I said, "I can't believe." He just said, "I can't believe I lost this fucking game." I was like, it was a tie, but he knew that he needed that win, and to him, that tie was a loss. I thought to myself then and there, okay, Joe Schoen's okay. He's taking this tie, this non-loss pretty hard because it's a game we should have won. But then, as the season wore on and the losses started piling up, you could see the facade cracking. And then when we finally had that Minnesota one, that was the worst thing ever, because then he changed philosophies and said, now we made the playoffs, we could do it again. So I'm going to make these trades. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to draft these guys to build on that season. And maybe we have another 9-win season. And people never understood. And I kept trying to explain to people, it was a fluke. You were 7-2, 2-5-1.
Fool's gold.
3 of those games you should have lost during that 7-2, but it's the way the football bounces.
Yeah.
And you're not always going to get those bounces. And we didn't get them last year. We're not getting them this year. And it's when he changed his entire philosophy about the free agency and the draft and everything else. That's when I lost all respect in Joe Schoen going into that second year.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anything better occur with him since that opening day press conference. I was all in for Kayvon Thibodeau. I didn't like Evan Neal. I wanted to take a linebacker. I said, you draft him. People always say, well, you wanted to take Malik Willis at 5. No, I didn't. I always said Malik Willis is a project. He's got to sit for a year. I didn't want to take him in the first round, but I said, I wanted what's his name? I wanted Thibodeau and White. And because I wanted to fix the defense right away. And I didn't really believe the philosophy that Thibodeau took plays off at Oregon, but you can kind of see that now. And I always thought to myself, Joe Schoen had to get it right with those building blocks because you can't screw up 5 and 7.
Sure.
And as the years go by now, we can see how bad that draft really was. And how, honestly, if you take a look at that first draft,
oh, it's awful.
I mean, it's what caused this downfall, this progression. Think about it. Beavers is gone. McKeithen is garbage. DJ Davidson, I thought he was going to be something. He's nothing. McFadden, good player when he can actually make tackles. Dane Belton, garbage. Bellinger, garbage. Flott probably is a 5th or 6th corner anyplace else. Azuda, garbage. Wandale Robinson, like I said before, if you can get pulled down behind from Kentucky, you're 2 yards in the cloud of dust. You're Billy 3-yard Taylor. Evan Neal, garbage. Kayvon Thibodeau, probably don't pick up the 5th-year option. That's you missed almost on your entire draft.
And that, the thing that I was saying, man, like, at the time, I think when, Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau, anybody with, and I'm not a pro football focused fan or anything, but anybody with a PFF account could have made those 2 picks. Anybody, like, you could have seen, all right, here's the picks to make. But the job of the GM is to say, you know what, the guy can't, the guy has bad footwork. Whatever the case is, we got to recognize that he's a big dude for right tackle, right? Like, is he really going to be able to not get pushed over or lose? Is he going to lose his balance often? That's what the GM's job is. That's what they're supposed to do, is to recognize that stuff. And like you said, they just totally they disregarded that information. Of course,
every scout though, and I will say this, but there's a caveat. Every scout thought that Evan Neal was a Pro Bowl left tackle coming out of college.
Really?
You look at the scouting reports, every scout. But every single scouting report said the same thing. Would have issues with speed rushers, needs to improve his footwork. That right there is an issue. And why are you, and we've said this before, why are you drafting a guy that played left tackle in college that tells you coming out of the draft he wants to play left tackle when you have Andrew Thomas? That's why I never understood that pick. And then to be shocked that he's got poor footwork, he comes out of his stance too high, and he's going to have issues with speed rushers.
And was Ike Makwana the same year? Wasn't he the same? I mean, because he's pretty decent on the Panthers, and at least
well, maybe we could trade for him. Maybe we can give a 2-5 and swap 5s.
Maybe we can give Brian Burns back to the Panthers at that point. What do you think? I don't know if that's going to happen, man. But no, dude, I just appreciate you, man. I thank you for letting me hop on with you. It's been fun.
You're very, very welcome. I'm glad you were able to make it on. And like I said, if you're more than welcome anytime to come on when we hit the when I drop the link in the chat. Just if you're around, come on board.
And anybody who's listening, I'm a subscriber as well. You need to subscribe to Tim's channel. Show him some love. Just want to put a quick commercial in there. I think it's like $2 a month or something like that. You get access to a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So just smash that button and get on Tim's.
Yeah, that's because YouTube won't let me give it away.
Oh, is that right? You have to charge something for it, right?
$1.99.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
So, but I really do appreciate David. I really do appreciate you coming on. I hope you have yourself a good rest of your day. And I'm going to drop you off. And anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome when you see the link in the chat.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, my friend. Thank you. All right, that was David coming in. I wanted to get to a lot of these, but I already see it's 109. And we do have to wrap it up because I got some stuff going on at the house. What does Razzle the Great says? The GM actually has to rely on the scouts of information, use the information to address issues with the guys you draft 100%. I mean, that literally sums it up. Let's see here. Zion Johnson is average, though. Yeah, he's average, but it's better than average. Matthew says, "You're awesome, Tim." I know. It's hard. I'm just kidding. Again, here, I'll play it for people that don't get mad at me.
Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
I appreciate it, guys. I mean, I think this was a real great stream today. And like I said, I really want to thank everyone that literally has been allowing me to do this for the last couple of years now. And like I said, I was shocked the other day when I noticed that we hit over 13,000 subscribers. So I never thought we would get 50, let alone 13. And now with the advent of that other platform, can't say it because they drop it down the analytics. I noticed we got over a couple hundred people watching over there. Got another couple hundred people watching over here. 100 people watching over on YouTube. So, like I said, I just it's just one of those things. It gives me the hopefully, like I said, with David coming on, I always want to have other people come on as well. David was a great guest. David was a fantastic. Damien, I think you're 100% right. I will have David on again. David was a great guest. And like I said, I always want people to come on. I want people to speak their mind. I want to make sure that everyone has a forum because we all have different thoughts. We all have different nations. And I always I always jokingly make fun of people when they listen to us. They say to listen to other people, and that doesn't bother me. If you listen to Talking Giants, if you listen to Fireside Giants, don't listen to Chat Sports. If you listen to fucking Chat Sports, you're fucking banned because they're morons. Just throwing it out there. I always have to have the
Warning, sarcasm. Warning, sarcasm.
always have to have the caveat. But get different information, hear different things, get different thoughts. I always tell people that. I don't care you listen to other people. The most informed person gets information from different sources. That's it. I avoid Chat Sports. That's why I love you, Matthew. I avoid Chat Sports video. Matthew's been on before, like the plague. But you know what, guys, I appreciate it. I really do. Because like I said, these streams and being on that other platform and all the other places, it's just been crazy. And the number of people that have started watching and listening. And hopefully we're going to have something good to talk about. Hopefully in the next year or two, we're going to have a franchise that we can be proud of again. I always love this. Razzle Great says, Chat Sports covers all sports, but they suck at it. The basketball takes are awful. Of course, because they're not me. But like I said, guys, I really do appreciate it, and I really want to thank everyone for hanging out for as long as they did. New video, I think, coming up tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But as always, this is Tim Zero China Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. I want to thank David for coming on. I want to thank everyone that came in from the chats all over the place. Great comments. Really appreciate it, guys. And as always, I'm out of here. Peace.